All right, here we are. I'm Nacht, the legislative director of the Vaping Militia, and the lovely lady below me is the Militia Lady, and
Hi
she is the
guys.
administrative director of the Vaping Militia.
That's what I am.
So we thought we would come on and do a little bit of a show, a little bit of a video to kind of start at the beginning. There have been a lot of people joining up with the Militia Facebook, thanks to a bunch of awesome product reviewers or video reviewers on YouTube, Twisted 420 and Nick Grimm Green and Suck My Mod, Matt from Suck My Mod, and
Matt Colley, yeah.
so we thought we would put together this little 1 hour-ish discussion about just basically Advocacy 101, advocacy for beginners, what it is that you, as members of the militia, what it is we need from you. Because just signing up to the Facebook gives you a lot of information. However, there's only 8 members of the Vaping Militia board, and as awesome as we are, and we are very awesome.
Yes, we are.
We don't know everything. We don't
Right.
hear everything, and we
You can't be
actually
everywhere.
need you, and you are the boots on the ground to be our eyes and ears in your local area. So we'll just go very basic here. I don't know how long. I mean, some of you guys, if you're my age, it's been a long time since you were in high school civics, and you may not understand the process of how a bill becomes law, and how a bill is, even what a bill is. So at the very beginning. So anyway, there are several reasons that we get on the radar of legislatures, whether it's a public health organization coming to the Board of Health and saying, we'll give you a grant if you author an ordinance that would ban public vaping, which has happened frequently, or whether it's because something that we have done as vapers. We've had several towns enact ordinances or author ordinances because people were irresponsible. But either way, what happens is a city councilman and the attorney, the city attorney, will put together an ordinance that has language in it that basically prevents you from vaping in public, or in different places that they don't want you to do it. On a state level, it happens much the same way. For control issues, whether there's a public health organization that comes and says we have to save the children, or somebody says, hey, the kids don't have enough money to buy books for the school, so we need to tax. So there's all these different motivations that people have, that government has, and there's all sorts of different bills. Anything from a public ban to age restriction to product labeling to product manufacturing standards to tax issues. All of the states that we're fighting in right now, all of the bills cover a wide range of things. So here in Texas, we have point of sale age verification issues that are coming. Right now, we don't, as far as I know, right off the top of my head, have a tax issue, but Washington State has one that's very horrible and nasty, and Indiana, one of their bills just passed through committee yesterday. So anyway, somebody writes a bill because of one reason or another, and it could cover any range of things. On a local level, your city council in their town charter will have a certain process on how to make an ordinance. Usually it requires some sort of announcement. They will post it on the minutes to the last town meeting or to a town meeting and say we're going to schedule a public hearing for, some date in the future. And that at that public hearing is the time that you, the vapor, and the vaping businesses in town need to go and stand up and speak. But the problem is, if nobody knows that it's happening, nobody gets prepared. So part of what you need to do as a member of the vaping militia and a member of the boots on the ground is that you spy on your city council. You need to know what day of the week or what day of the month your city council has a meeting. If you don't already have an ordinance in your town, you definitely need to pay attention. At least one person in every city that has vaping needs to be paying attention to the city council. If you're a business and you're doing the right thing and you're participating in your local government, chamber of commerce and things like that, you'll get a heads up. But before that ordinance can become, or before that draft ordinance can become an actual ordinance, they have to have a public hearing. So they'll have a first reading. And if there's no changes that be made, then they make it right into a public hearing. People get up and speak. You bring the legislative packet. You go up there and tell your story, and you say, read this. This is important. You need to educate yourself before you legislate. Hopefully, you've got intelligent people on your city council that listen. It's not always the case.
Yeah.
Robin, you're being very quiet.
I'm listening. I'm learning. Legislation is not my field of expertise, so we typically defer to you anyway. So I am actually learning with everybody else.
Oh, I like being deferred to, but speak. We're making an entertaining video, so you have to bring the entertainment because I'm the boring guy. So
that's my job.
So
wow.
On a legislative level, on the state, it happens much the same way, but in a much grander scale. Here in Texas, we had early bill reporting. You have legislative sessions. Some states have legislative sessions for from January 1st until June 6th, and they vary from state to state. Some of them have very long sessions. Some of them have very short sessions. Some of them meet every year. Some of them only meet every 2 years. So you need to know what the process is in the state that you live in. However, we had early bill reporting. So when drafts, and the first level of a bill is the draft. That means that a politician got together and wrote this bill. Then they announce it. They release it. And this happened in December for Texas. We had as many as, I think, originally there was 8 or 9 early reported bills in Texas. And we had a long time to read them, to go over them, to pick them apart. On a state level, that's the first step. But some states don't have bill reporting. Some states you have to spy on just like you do the local level. But if you don't have an active state consumer advocacy group, and we've started consumer advocacy groups in most states. I think we are up to 40 plus.
Yeah, I think so too.
Those guys, that's you. You're the grassroots. Now the vendors, they need to organize separately, and there needs to be a state trade association or a state vendors group. Now the state vendors group are actually going to be, at the beginning part of this, the most important, because they are the guys, to put it bluntly, that make money from you, the consumer, and from this industry. So they're the guys that are going to have to front the money to pay for a lobbyist. And on a state level, there needs to be a lobbyist.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Not, I do have something I want to say.
Okay, say it.
I think that, and you're talking about the separation for the groups in the states, and I think sometimes there's confusion there, and people often don't understand why it can't all be one big group, and I'm not sure they completely understand that. They understand there are differences, but I'm not sure they understand the significance and how much the differences matter in their perspective, looking at it as a or a vendor, and the reason why they actually need separate groups because their focuses are truly different.
Well, technically, there are certain things, and this is we'll look at nationally. You got CASA, which is the National Consumer Advocacy Group for us. Okay, there are the grassroots. Now you have trade or industry. Those guys. Oh, hey Jojo. Those guys can't do certain things. They can't say certain things. And really and truly, we have to have two groups nationally and on the state level also, because when it comes time to forming your grassroots and getting people to stand outside of the courthouse and hold up signs, that needs to be consumer. And also when it comes time to testifying, if there's a public hearing, as a trade group or as somebody in the industry, your focus should be on preserving the business aspects of vaping. I employ, say you're a large juice manufacturer. I employ 20 full-time employees. I pay taxes. They are insured. They get benefits through me. I do, I'll make them a really big hypothetical juice company. We do $15 million a year in total gross revenue. We pay this much money in taxes. If you put me out of business with these very restrictive laws and regulations that you're putting forth, that's all of my employees will be unemployed. They will no longer have medical insurance. That $15 million of gross revenue that I bring in is gone.
They'll be collecting from the system instead of putting money into the system.
Right. So they need to testify on the business aspects, because there's some squirrely rules that were put into place, and this is what gave the FDA responsibility over us as tobacco versus as a smoking cessation or health product. We cannot, not we, excuse me, I'm not a vendor, but vendors in this industry cannot make any sort of health claims. So the testimony that focuses on health and improvement of health, smoking cessation, all of that stuff needs to come from the consumers. So you put together, as a consumer, you put together your testimony with your personal story, with your health history. You go up there and say, look, before I found vaping, I was a 30-year smoker. I woke up every morning coughing and unable to breathe. Before I did anything every morning, I had to light up a cigarette because the nicotine, my body was calling for the nicotine. I couldn't run up and down stairs. My taste buds were dying because I couldn't taste anything, or I thought I was, but after I found vaping, I found out I wasn't. There's all these different aspects that you can hit as a consumer that industry cannot touch. So it has to be two different groups focusing on two different angles to attack the same thing.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted you to say.
Oh, okay. I did something right.
You did very well, Nacht. Yay.
So yeah, I mean, it's very important that's the way it has to happen.
Yeah.
You know, truly, the guys that are making, and I'm not here to say that, you know, every vendor in the industry is making buttloads of money. I mean, I know that some of these guys, their bottom line is way. I shouldn't say way. Their bottom, you know, their cost of being in business is not much more than what it costs, you know, what they're making. So
right, a lot of them, yeah.
There's not a lot of people making. I mean, there is. No, you're not late.
But not as much as people think. You know what? There's a lot of people that are, you know, juice makers or whatever, that are still working separate full-time jobs because they can't support themselves, you know, on their juice business. There's a lot of those guys.
Yeah, and the idea is that we want to preserve the industry so that those small manufacturers may one day have the opportunity to become big manufacturers.
Yeah, you know, absolutely.
You and I, we know a lot of big companies. We know a lot of people in this industry, and they don't have a lot of money to burn either. So the only way that this is going to work is if, you know, the vendors in every state that aren't already members of trade groups join whatever state trade group is there. Whether, you know, and I'm a big fan of whatever works. I will use any tool that is available to me. So here in my state, we have SFATA, and we have a state chapter of SFATA, and it works. And that's great. It works. We need to do whatever it needs to happen. I would say that on a national level, every vendor in this industry needs to be a national member of SFATA. Regardless of whatever format their state trade group is, they need on a national level to become a member of SFATA, because those are the people that are going to pool their resources and hire a federal level lobbyist. You know, those are the people that are going to do it. And if you want to stay in business and be responsible, that's what you got to do. So anyway, I was on bills. So here in Texas, we had 8 or 9 pre-filed bills. We're up to 11 now. So we are fighting Texas, the Texas State Trade Group, which is a SFATA chapter, is putting their money together. They've hired a lobbyist. The lobbyist is interfacing with the politicians, and that's great. That needs to happen in every state, and we are having a lot of growth right now, and the state trade groups are popping up, which is great. But this is an ongoing thing. This is not a one and done thing. If you're in this business, you have to realize that after we win this year, there's next year. California has learned, because the bills they beat last year are back. They had one specific bill that they didn't even rename. We beat it last year, AB 1500. We beat it last year, and they just reintroduced the same bill. So yeah, I mean, this is an ongoing thing. So, you know, you have to realize that just because we won last year, we have to fight the same fight again next year. So that's why everybody needs to get excited, and that's why I'm thankful that, you know, Twisted 420 and all those guys did their reviews and told everybody, hey, this is the future of vaping. I don't have a Cigalite to hold up in front of you, but we were at an event in Las Vegas recently, and somebody was walking around with a handful of Enjoys, and we like Enjoy. They're good people. I have bottles of their juice on my table, but I'm not going to hold them up because this is not a product endorsement. But they actually taped or rubber banded like 8 of them together, and we're showing you what you would have to do to achieve the same cloud that you want, because there are people that are all about the cloud. They wanted to show, in the future, this is what you're going to have as a sig-alike, and to get the effect that you want, you're going to have like 6 of these taped together. So, right now, the most important thing is the FDA is coming. The FDA is in the future. We know it's going to happen, but we don't know when. We know that they said something about July. We don't know when that's going to happen for sure. They could come out in July and say, you know what, we need more time. So what we need to do right now is focus on your locals and your states. We know that they're trying to crush us right now. So this is the time that everybody should get all amped up. This is, I'm really serious. I think everybody should get hyper excited and angry at the same time. You should get all juiced up and think, I'm going to help save vaping, and I'm angry that these politicians are trying to destroy it. So anytime CASA puts out a call to action, and they use a thing called CQ Engage to build their calls to action, and that is a very expensive, very awesome software application that allows you are once you're registered on that program, on the CQ Engage, you are considered an advocate, and it counts you in their advocate number. So you go in, you fill out your address, and it helps you contact the people that represent you on the local, the state, and the federal level. So Alex Clark, who's the legislative director of CASA, puts together the calls to action, whether they be a local, a state, or a federal issue. Anybody can act on the federal issues. Anybody that lives in a particular state can act on a particular state's thing because it's based on your address. And the locals are also the same way. If you live in a town, you can act on those calls to action. If you do business in a town that you don't live in, you cannot participate through Engage, but what you can do is you can get the email addresses of the people in those areas and say, look, you know what, I don't live in your area, but I do a lot of business in your area. I'm there, frequently, blah, blah, blah. If I'm not able to do business in your town anymore, you're losing my tourism dollars, you're losing my business dollars, blah, blah, blah. So you can still participate on that level, but the actual alerts and the calls to action, you have to be local to the issue. So A Leisure just put in, I'm still waiting for my rep to contact me here in Texas from the militia. Well, A Leisure, I am the rep.
You've come to the right place.
For the Vaping Militia. How did you attempt to contact? Because I have not received any requests for information. What do you need? I can help you right now.
He came to the right place, though.
Yep.
How lucky are you?
Okay. So yes, where are you at in Texas? Through the site. I think that the contact at Vaping Militia gets hundreds of messages probably.
It does. It takes a long time to get through it sometimes.
Sometimes it might take a while. You're in Houston. What What is your issue? What is your? You want to know what to do? And there's probably a lag, so giving them time.
You know, in that interim, while we're waiting for the lag to catch up.
There we go. They want to help out more.
Okay, good.
So okay, in Houston, there are quite a few vendors that are very responsible, that are acting responsibly and doing the right thing. On the I don't know if I met you in Dallas or if I've seen you at a show, but if you've been to any of our shows, you see these really cool 4x6 cards that we have. So first, this is the beginning part. So I'll hook you up with more information here in just a second. But so the very first thing on the as a vapor, this is what you can do for advocacy side of the 4x6 card. Says first that you need to register to vote.
Absolutely.
That's very important, because if you try to participate in the calls to action, we know a member that is a vaping advocate that used to be in the legislative process as a she was a senator or a congresswoman.
Yeah, she was a senator.
She was a senator. So the first thing she says is, if she gets a letter from somebody asking questions about issues or anything like that, the first thing they do is they pull up that person's name to see if they're actually a registered voter.
Right. And then the other thing, Nacht, if I can interrupt for just a second, is that not even just to be registered to vote, because, I mean, yeah, that's great, but you got to get out there and vote, because they can tell if you're a voter or not. If you're simply registered and they can see that you're not bothering to vote, you know, to them, votes are money. You got to vote.
That is your power over your politicians. The I vape, I vote thing that everybody's, picking up now, that is very true. But you have to participate in both parts of the I vape and I vote.
It's important.
Because if we show them our numbers, if we know for a fact that the estimates are about 22 million American vapors. Now, we know quite a lot of those are probably Siga-like users. They're not all advanced users, because if that were the case, the sales revenues would be higher than the $4.5 billion. So yeah, first thing, register to vote. The next is to join CASA. Okay, CASA is important. That's where you're going to get all your calls to action. You're going to get the information you need. And then you join us, the Vaping Militia.
Right, and CASA, tell them, CASA, I'm not sure if they all realize CASA's right on Facebook too.
Oh yeah, CASA's on Facebook.
I think it's We Are CASA, yeah. The group.
But you need to register on their website too, because you'll get, once you're registered, if something's happening in your area, you'll get an email alert. If they put up a call to action for your zip code, you'll get an email saying, we put up a call to action for your zip code. You need to act. So join CASA on the Facebook and on the website. It doesn't cost anything. Then obviously the people that are here know, join the Vaping Militia. Now, we have the Facebook group, which is where everything is at. Anything that we do as a blog or anything that any information that we have goes right out on that Facebook group. And regardless of whether you're a supporting member and you give us $20 a year, or if you are not a supporting member and you're just a member of Facebook, you're still a member of the militia.
Right.
And we want everybody to know that it's not about money. We're not in this for money, because we don't have a lot. We do this because we want to continue to vape. The next thing, the fourth thing on this list says advocate everywhere, which means not only are you aggressively speaking about vaping, but that you're doing it in a responsible way. If you are acting out in public and blowing huge clouds in Walmart, you're not advocating for the product. I can tell you that right now. And thanks you guys for the links, because I can't do this and type at the same time. So then the next thing is to support those that support you by patronage of those stores that support advocacy efforts. At a bare minimum, the shops that you do business with should have at least the CASA stand up. They should be aware of what's going on. When you go in and buy a product and there's something going on in your city or your state, they should be telling every customer that comes in, hey, are you aware of Bill SB 207? Or are you aware of this new ordinance that's coming up and there's a hearing? Because it's not all about who gives money to organizations. Advocacy has different levels, and to tell you the truth, the ones that are pushing the message, getting the information to the vapers, are just as important as the people that are shelling out dollars. So that's important. You need to vote with your dollars. If you want to continue to be able to vape, then they should be doing everything they can do to preserve the business so that you have access to those products. So the other thing is if you go into a shop that doesn't have that information, that's not doing the advocacy, it may be because they just aren't aware. Maybe you need to educate them. So that's your other responsibility. You need to go and talk to your vendors and say, look, did you know that the city's doing this? Or did you know that the state's doing this? And are you willing to fight for your business? And then, you got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those social medias. When we post something, or CASA posts something, or any of the other vaping advocates out there, Demi, if Alex Carlson, any of those guys that are
any of those guys,
yeah. Stefan Didak out of California.
Yeah, Greg Connolly, all of them.
Oh, yeah. If any of those guys post something, spread it around, share it, put it. I know for a fact I'm probably in more groups than most vapors, because there's
we probably all are.
I think I'm a member of like 500 groups right now.
Yeah, something like that. Probably.
I'm sure as an average vapor that you guys are doing, the group thing, and you're in more than one group, and if you see something that's posted in an advocacy group that's not posted in the other groups, then definitely spread it around.
Especially the state groups that they're in, Nacht. I mean, sometimes the state groups don't pick that stuff up, but if you see it on CASA, share it in your state's group. Why not?
I mean, I think I'm a member in every state group, but
I
myself, the cut and paste or the share thing, my thumbs get tired after a while, and if I miss somebody, then the thing is everybody, everybody thinks that Phil is the most important vapor. Every year they come out with these polls and who is the most important vapor, or the most
that best stuff or whatever.
Guess what? Yeah. They're all wrong. Guess
they
what?
Are.
The most important vapor is you.
Yeah.
You're the one, that's going to be out there fighting. So you are the most influential and important vapor.
Yeah, they're in shop. You guys are in shops all over the country.
Yeah.
You have a voice, and you need to use it.
Leisure.
You have an opportunity.
Don't post your email in the chat here. If you go to Facebook,
he's friends with. He can send it to me. He's messaged me before, so if you want to just send it to me, I'll make sure not to get it.
Because this video is going up on YouTube, and I don't want people, bombing you with stuff. But yes, we will give you information.
Just send it to me.
So anyway, there's obviously. Everybody needs to participate in the engagements, and here in Texas, I've put together a few Texas issue engagements, and in the last week, we have generated almost 2,000 letters um, to our Texas legislators. Now, I mean, I know for a fact there are way more than 2,000 vapers in Texas, but that's still an amazing number of letters. That's 2,000 times that people in this state in the last week have contacted their legislators with their vape stories, with their and this one was a request from every legislator to respond and let us know what their position was on vaping. How are you going to vote if any of these bills make it to the floor? Dan the Vape Man. We have members in Canada, but we are all Americans down here, and we don't particularly understand your Canadian system because your system's different than ours. We do encourage anybody that is in Canada to participate in their legislative process, and we can help you with support. But when it comes to the different ways that your government works, because you have ministers and PMs and all that, and I don't really understand all that. If you give us help, we can help you. If you help us with teaching us how your process works, we can give you information and kind of tell you what works here, and maybe you can fight in Canada. One of the original founding members of Canada, or of the Vaping Militia, lives in Canada, but young Tom has been really busy going to school. I think
I think so too. Yeah.
So yes, we're here to help you, but I really don't know. I mean, you're apparently yesterday in Canada there was a big deal, and the Liberals actually were on the side of vaping, or it looked like
I saw that.
possibly, and our Liberals here are the exact opposite. They're the most anti-vaping, so it works differently. So yeah, you help us, we help you. But anyway, what do you need to do as a new member of the Vaping Militia? Pay attention to the Facebook. Participate in the alerts that are in your area from CASA. And basically educate yourself in case you ever have to go and testify. And that's the thing, is on a local level, we can't come to where you live and testify for you. We don't vote in your district, and your legislators are not required by your laws, by our laws, to listen to anything that we tell them. Mm-hmm. Because we are not their constituency. So what we do, if you contacted us and said, hey, there's an issue coming in my local area or in my state, what we do is we give you an information packet. We go over it with you. We help you build your testimony. We teach you on what to say, what not to say, that kind of thing. But you are the actual people that are going to stand in front of your city council. I can go and rip apart the ordinance for you and tell you what parts we can attack and so forth, but you are the one that's actually going to have to go and do it.
Yeah, we can't be there for you.
Yeah. That's just the way government works. I mean, Demi, we'll just use him for an example. He is a member of Tennessee Smoke Free. He's a vape personality, and he can and has testified on many local issues in Tennessee, and I believe he's done so on a state level in the state. But we can't get Demi to fly in an airplane to come to Texas to testify because he's not a voter here.
Right.
he can come here and help organize, and that's what sometimes has happened. We've gone to places and helped organize, but we can't stand in front of your city council or in front of your state legislator and fight for you. You have to do that.
Yeah.
And
you know, we, like you just said, we have to know. We'll organize you. We will teach you. We will educate you as much as we can. We'll send you the packet. Put articles in there that are relevant. We'll even tell you what to wear, because sometimes people just don't go dressed appropriately. But we can't do it for you.
Well,
we just can't do that.
You know, in Dallas, we were at Vape Blast recently, and I'm, you know, talking to people as they walk up to the booth about the militia and about what we do, and about, you know, telling them, yes, you're going to be the one that has to go and stand in front of your city council. And this young man came up, and he was tattooed. His arms were tattooed. He had tattoos on his neck and things, and he had big gauged earrings. And he said, well, they're not going to listen to me. I said, if you're a voter and you don't, you know, obviously you still need to wear your Sunday best. You know, it's just, they're going to respect you more. You got to realize that tattoos and gauged earrings are not nearly as taboo as they used to be.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're a constituent, and regardless of whether you have gauged earrings and tattoos, yes, you can participate in the process in your state, and you need to. So, yeah, you can't use that for an excuse. Well, they're not going to listen to me because I have a giant pink mohawk. Big deal. You still need to go testify.
Yep, you do. If you're a registered voter, they care what you have to say.
Because guess what? If you if enough people decide that they don't like the way they voted on a particular subject, they're gone the next time.
Yeah.
So back to A. Leisure's question about what he can do more in Texas. In Texas, we have the Texas Vapers Advocacy. It's a Facebook group. We have used that in the last year as a way to organize on a state level and on a local level within Texas to get people to appear at hearings. I've used it because I live in Corpus Christi, which is pretty far south. I've used it to help get people in Amarillo, get people in Lubbock, get people in the Dallas Metroplex area, to organize people, to pass around information. And last year in Baytown, which is near you in Houston, we actually used it to organize a group of about, 10 vapors and 10 businesses to go and defeat a bill in Baytown. So if you're not already a member of that group, you definitely need to do that. As far as anything else, I know that Safada's putting together a fundraiser in San Antonio soon. If you wanted to participate in that, the information will be on that group too. Right now, we have a lobbyist in Austin that is working with Safada, Texas. And I know that there's another group, TEVA, and they also have somebody representing in Austin that they're assisting each other in fighting these bills. And right now, before a bill gets to the public hearing process, or it becomes time to do anything else, you need to engage with your legislators. You need to send letters to your representatives letting them know this bill's coming, and I don't want you voting yes for it, because it's damaging to the industry. It stigmatizes a product that potentially could save millions of lives. And the good thing, as a consumer, you can actually say that. I'm putting the link into the chat for you, A. Leisure, for the Texas Vapor Advocacy group. So that's a good step forward, and then, you know, obviously Robin and I will contact you later with more specifics.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any questions?
Excuse me.
You're not pending anymore. You're a member now. I have that kind of authority.
You're pretty funny, Nacht.
Shocking abuse of power.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so basically with all these new people joining the Militia Facebook group and getting kind of aware of advocacy through these reviewers, yes, it's important that you kind of understand what it is that you have to do. Will the Vaping Militia be at Vape Bash?
Yes, I will be there. I will be there, along with Fred, who a lot of you may or may not have met. He's actually our founder. The whole thing was his idea. And Joe Barnett will be there, the three of us. We will get there Thursday, like late in the day. And the event, I want to say, is Friday and Saturday. We come home Sunday. But yeah, come and stop by at our booth and meet us. Come say hi.
And then we have a hello from Massachusetts. I'm
Hello.
not even going to say dirty. I'm thinking it's Dirty DeVoe, but... so I know that Massachusetts has been very active.
Absolutely, really active.
We've had quite a few local issues. I really haven't heard anything state level wise, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. So yeah, Dirty DeVoe, your job now with the Vaping Militia is that you keep an ear to the ground and listen to your city council if you haven't already got a ordinance in place. And you're a part of the Massachusetts Vapers group, which is amazing and awesome. And anytime something is coming up, if you do not already see a call to action, you contact CASA, you contact us, and we will help you organize. Hoosier Vapor.
Oh, the Hoosiers, yeah.
Yeah, there's Hoosier Vapor. So
there'll be a bash, I would think.
Yeah, he says here, it's very clear here in Indiana that the tobacco companies have Hoosier politicians in their back pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the the thing that happened yesterday was a little saddening.
Yeah.
But that is not all the way through the process yet. And hopefully you and us can get together and get that piece of crap legislation defeated. I contained my curse words.
That was good. Well, you're taping, so
yeah,
you're trying to keep it clean.
I don't want to break through Yahoo's terms of service by saying the wrong
I know,
words.
right? Yes, don't.
So yes, I'm sure that you're aware that Indiana had some of the nastiest language in any bill that I've ever seen. The most restrictive manufacturing processes, expensive security issues.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just overwhelming, the number of crappy bits of information and language that was in those bills. So one of them passed through committee yesterday, and that's not good, but we're here to help you with anything that you need. Hoosier Vapor.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see some of that. I met some of those guys when Fred and I were in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that we'll see some of them in Bash.
And it's not going to get better. It only gets worse.
Yeah.
So it's great. Like I said, it's great that we've gotten all these people excited about advocacy now, because the only way that we can win, is with numbers.
Yeah. Yep.
So when people say this doesn't involve me because I don't vape nicotine. Well,
Right.
sadly that's not true.
Well, they're looking at devices too. You know,
They're
you're
looking
using
at
device.
devices.
Yeah.
They're looking at several of the laws have been written in such a way that they don't believe that zero nic juice has zero nic in it.
Right.
And you know, there are a lot of places that if it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck,
Yes.
it has to be a duck. So they're going after everybody that uses a vaporizer, regardless of whether there's nicotine in it or not.
Right, and it looks like smoke to them.
Yeah, that was the one thing that we heard was, well, it's going to be difficult for our police officers and our and people in enforcement to actually do their job because they can't tell whether it's a cigarette or a vaporizer. Okay. You see this thing? Does this look like a cigarette to you?
Look, really? It's hot pink.
You know. So yes, the local and the state issues, as well as FDA issues, are going to go after everything. FDA's already said if the end result is in a nicotine product, regardless of whether it has nicotine in it, and they're saying that hardware is going to be considered a tobacco product.
Yeah.
So, yes, you know, we have to defeat the idea that there's going to be ways around. You know, I've seen DIYers say, well, I'll just DIY. Well, guess what? If you use Nick, you're not going to be able to get it. So instead of, and I'm not being negative, I'm not being a doom and gloom guy. I'm trying to get everybody fired up. They're coming after your stuff. Are you going to let them take it?
Exactly. Exactly. And, you know, the big thing is we need everybody to get involved. You know what, Knox, sometimes I don't think people realize, and, you know, you mentioned it before, I don't think people always realize that we're just a board of 8 people. There's only 8 of us on the board here. And we're spread out across the country. There's 2 in California, you're in Texas, we have Michigan, Minnesota, Fred's in Indiana, we have me in New Jersey, and me in Pennsylvania. So we truly are from one end of the country to the other. And, again, there's only 8 of us. So we can't do everything. We really need you guys to do it with us. We just can't possibly do it without your help.
Yeah, we help you, we guide you, we give you the tools necessary, but in the end, you're the boots. And whether you're on the ground or you're crushing your enemy, you know, you still need to be active.
Yeah, yep.
So, yeah, I mean, our goal is to teach you and to get you to the point where you can actually put your boot to the enemy's head. In a metaphorical way. I'm
metaphorically,
finding your politicians and threatening them with violence. We teach you how to respectfully participate in the process.
Yes.
But I like to use colorful metaphors.
Yeah.
So, so I saw somebody else, Cole74 came in from Texas, and they're wanting to get more involved. Cole, are you a member of the Texas Vapers Advocacy? There's a lot of Texas people.
They all came to see you, Nacht.
No. I'm one of the people that stands in the background and directs. I'm never going to try to be vape famous, and I like being where I'm at. But I'm going to put in a link. John 73MC. Let me try something real quick for Idaho. There is already a very small group in Idaho, but you can always help grow it. So I'm going to put the link in here for the state, and like I said, we've helped form state-level consumer advocacy groups in over 40 states. So if you're in a state and you're not already a member, join. If it's dormant and it's not doing anything, use it to do something. I know that Idaho may not be a hotbed of vaping politics, but we're on the radar, and they may at some point decide, hey, you know what? I think we should ban vaping, or you know what? Let's put a 95% wholesale tax on vaping, or let's put a tax on e-juice. And regardless of whether or not it's a hotbed or it's very busy, you know, if somebody's doing something, other people will join in.
Right.
You're not the only one in your state, whether it's Idaho, Wyoming, Texas, California. Then there's a video, and I'm gonna break off here. Jim, one of the members of the militia, one of the board members, shows that he likes this video, and it's at this music festival, and there's a guy standing on the side of this hill doing this wacky, crazy dance all by himself, and he is having so much fun doing this dance, and you know, this video is maybe 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
For the first minute or so, he's doing it by himself. Well, guess what? Here comes this other wacko dude. He comes in, he gets in line, and starts dancing with the crazy wacko dude. And there are two guys having a great time, enjoying themselves. Well, then another person comes up and starts looking at the dance that the other two guys are doing, and then starts doing the dance. And then the next thing you know, there's 5 people joining. And then after that, there's 30 people joining. And then by the end of the video, everybody on the side of this mountain is doing this crazy, wacky dance. Well, you know, advocacy is the same way.
Right.
So, A. Leisure says he wants to know why we're talking about his dancing, but advocacy is the same way. You know, it started out, a couple people started doing stuff, and then other people jumped in and started doing stuff, and then now, you know what, this is the most people we've ever had doing stuff. You know, Kasad just jumped, announced that they broke some record, I can't remember, was it 20,000 people?
Yeah, something like that.
And that's not just members of their Facebook and members of their mailing list. That's actual members of their people that are participating in the engagements. That's a total number of people that have participated in their engagements on CQ Roll Call.
Yeah.
You know, I know they have more members in their email list, and I know they have more members on their Facebook and things like that. But 20,000 people writing letters to their politicians is amazing. And it needs to be more, because we know that there's, like I said earlier, there's 22 million vapors in the United States. That number should be much higher. So if you're not already participating in their engagements, you definitely need to jump onto the CASA Facebook, or not the CASA Facebook, the CASA website. Click on the, I think it's What We Do across the top, and you drag down to where it says Calls to Action. If there's a call to action in your state or in your city, you need to do it. Over the past couple weeks, I've been coming on and doing these little tutorial videos, because there is a federal issue which deals with FDA workshop stuff. And over the past couple months, the FDA have been holding these workshops. And you need to go and read that call to action, because you may not know that they even did these workshops, but they didn't allow any of the people that we recognize as experts on vaping to participate, not in any substantive way. There was a public comment period at the beginning of the session every day for 1 hour, and everybody gets 3 minutes to participate in that. And these are FDA workshops in Silver Springs, Maryland. So everybody couldn't physically go. But those people that did, they got 3 minutes to stand at a podium and give whatever testimony they wanted. There are scientists that are in this industry that promote this product. Dr. Michael Siegel, Dr. Farsalinos, Carl. Those scientists needed to have the ability to participate, because those are the guys that have done the most work in this area, that know the technology and know the product. And the only way that we're going to be able to get substantive information in regards to the FDA workshops is if we participate in this comment period. Originally, there's 3 dockets open, or 3 dockets on the FDA site. One of them is closed. One of them regarding the second workshop, is it the second? No, the first workshop closes on April 15th. But what they did was they opened a third docket which covers all 3 of these workshops in toto. So if you haven't already participated in the first workshop call to action, I suggest that you do. Spend some time putting your thing together. It specifically pertains to hardware design and e-juice. So you need to put some thought into it. And any information, regardless of whether it's a scientific study or whether it's a discussion on a forum, if it's substantive, that means if it contains information and it's not just people cursing at each other or making jokes or putting memes up, then grab a PDF of that, do a screen cap and do a PDF, because they're not required to follow links. But if you actually download a study and then attach it to your comment, they are required to read it. So we need to bury them with information. We need to give them millions of pages of stuff that they have to read before they make any decisions. So that's one way that everybody can participate. Regardless of whether or not you're... Oh, definitely, John. You need to do this first docket, the one that closes next week. Do it, and then use that as a foundation because the third docket will have more. So you take that first comment that you made to the docket that ends next week, that is pertaining specifically to hardware, variability in the product, and e-juice, chemistry, and different things like that. And if you need help building your comment, we've put together some pointers, and we're putting together a timeline of the evolution of vaping hardware. And we've been working with National Vapers Club. That deadline for the third one is in July. So you have time. So you take that comment about hardware and e-juice, and then you hit all the points in the third docket, which encompasses all 3 of the workshops. So, R.J. Reynolds, when they did their comment to the big FDA thing, they wrote a 50-page comment and then included 50 separate attachments as exhibits, exhibit 1 through 50. And they alone provided the FDA with thousands of pages of information that just, the main thrust of their comment was open systems are dangerous and open systems should be banned. So if they have a scientist and attorneys putting together their comment that says open systems are bad and people can get poisoned and it's horrible and you should ban them immediately. And then we provide 7,000 comments of people saying, fuck you, FDA, you can't take my shit. Which one is going to hold more weight? So we want everybody to put together a respectable, well thought out comment to both of these dockets. Because if you just put together a letter with a bunch of curse letters or curse words in it and telling them how stupid it is for them to take away your product, they're going to take your product away. It just works that way.
Be respectful. Yeah,
so
gotta be respectful.
You have to be substantive. You have to give information, and you have to do it in a respectful way. Hello, Lisa Bell.
Hey, Lisa.
So, yes, I mean, we went from Advocacy 101 to Advanced Advocacy really quickly.
Yes, we did.
We kind of went through the evolution really fast. But basically, on a starter level, you participate with CASA on their calls to action. You take the information that the militia provides you. Any help that you need, we are here to help you build your comments. And yes, your personal story is important in every one of these calls to action. Anytime there's an engagement that tells you to send a letter to your legislator, you need to put in there, you know what, I smoked, I tried other products, nothing worked, this did. I wasn't, you know, whatever health aspects that you had as a smoker, how it was affecting your life, and how you knew vaping, or you knew smoking, excuse me, you knew smoking was going to kill you and you still couldn't stop.
Yeah.
I mean, really and truly, we can't, as newer smokers, as people in your 30s and 40s, all our life we knew that smoking was bad for us. We did. The warning labels were on the side of cigarettes. You know, by the time I started smoking when I was 12, I already knew that they were going to kill me if I did them. Yeah. We can't use that excuse. We constantly attack the tobacco companies for lying to us, but they didn't lie to us. They lied to our grandparents. We made the choice to smoke, and we also made the choice to stop. But we need them to understand that we've chosen this product because it is less harmful than smoking. And whether we made the choice to start smoking and knew that it was going to kill us, we couldn't stop without this product. I tried the patch. I tried the gun. I tried hypnosis. I tried Chantix. The patch, when I tried to smoke that, it tasted funny. The gum, it didn't do shit for me. No. Like I continued to, I was chewing a pack of that stuff a day and still smoking. All of it. Hypnosis, you know, I stopped wetting the bed, but I still couldn't stop smoking.
They even did acupuncture to me. I walked around with a little clip in my ear for a little while. I still smoked. It didn't help. Just didn't work.
You know what? I tried Chantix, and all that did was make me hyper aggressive and violent. You know, we hear all the time how many people committed suicide, and there are over 300 deaths attributed to suicide by Chantix. And it didn't affect me that way. I never wanted to kill myself. I just wanted to kill everyone around me.
God, Nacht.
It got to the point where my girlfriend said, "Go buy a pack of cigarettes."
Yeah.
Because it's not working for you. The only thing that made it so that I could completely stop smoking was an electronic cigarette. So all of that information needs to be put into your comment, into your letter. And what I do, I'm a cheater. I wrote one really good letter, and I've had it edited. I've gone through it multiple times. I keep it on my computer, and anytime that there's an issue that I can address with a letter, I use that letter and I tailor it. I edit it for whatever specific issue is going on. If it's a public ban, I add language in it that discusses why secondhand vaping is not dangerous. If it's a tax issue, I focus on monetary stuff, how this is going to affect me financially, and what it might do if I can't afford to continue to vape and I still need my nicotine. I could go back to smoking. So you can use the same roadmap, you can use that same letter and just tailor it for different issues. And I think we've done pretty well with that letter. I mean, I've posted it on the Militia blogs multiple times in different different places, and it's been changed several times. And but yeah, there's different versions of it already up on our blog. Anytime you look on our blog and there's a picture of a hand holding a feather pen, like a quill ink pen, that's me asking you to write letters to your politicians. And my sample letter is attached. So if you can't write a letter, take that letter. If you have trouble, take that letter, take out my bits and put your bits in. So A Leisure says, my wife threatened me to leave and I had to go buy a pack when I tried to go cold turkey. I love my wife. Says here that she uses vaping as a weight loss tool. She doesn't use nic, and she quit smoking when she was 23 years old, which is great. And you know what? That's fine. I'm glad that cold turkey worked for her, or however whatever method that she used. And you know what? I'm totally behind her vaping as long as she doesn't use nicotine. That's one of the things that people use against us, is that we are creating new addicts.
Yeah.
There are
I don't think so.
there are a lot of people that are vaping that were not smokers prior to vaping, and they use it because they like to blow clouds. And I have nothing against cloud chasers. I don't cloud chase myself. Whatever you can do to stop yourself from smoking, if that is what you have to do, then do it. But do it responsibly. Don't do it at Walmart. But there are a lot of younger people, and I'm not talking about minors. I'm talking about young adult people that weren't smokers, that are getting into it because it looks cool or whatever, college kids. And you know what? It's still better than them smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
As long as, we do it responsibly, I don't give you can do whatever you want to do. I'm a very libertarian kind of guy. I don't think the government should tell us what we can and can't do. But we have to do it right. If we give them any bullets to shoot at us, it's hard for us to dodge our own bullets. Robin, speak.
You have not stopped.
Well, I've been trying to do this. We've been wanting to do this Advocacy 101 thing for a while. And the last couple of videos that I did were very issue specific and needed to focus specifically on the FDA comment period. And those videos are on the Vaping Militia channel on YouTube. If you want to go, I think it says CASA FDA Workshop Part 1, Part 2,
something like
Part
that,
3,
yeah.
something like that. This video will also be uploaded to YouTube for the people that can't listen. And I did it in such a way that people could actually see the comments made in chat. So they,
that's cool.
We're not talking to ourselves. But has anybody got any questions that I haven't rambled on about?
Nacht, you know what I want to tell them that they might not know? Because a lot of times I hear people in chat, see people in chat, not just when we're broadcasting, but in other shows too, talking about that they'd like to reach out to one of us individually, but they don't know how. It's really actually very easy. If you're a member of the Facebook group, there's 8 admins. We're the board members. There's all our names for you, so we're easy to find.
Can you unadmin me? I don't want to do this.
No, I probably get I get a lot of Facebook messages.
You can re-admin me in like a week. I just want to take a nap.
No.
Can I take a leave of absence and just take?
I get a lot of them, and I answer every single one, Nacht, and you will have to do the same thing.
Well, nobody ever contacts me. I'm like the invisible guy, so that's great.
Everybody contacts me because I don't know, because I'm the nice one.
Friendly and pretty, and I'm grumpy as a I'm the grumpy bear guy. So
yeah, that's what it is. You're the grumpy bear. But yeah, we're easy to find. We're real easy to find.
So Max is saying about, I think he's talking, are you talking specifically about the CASA testimonial site, or are you talking about their FDA comment? So the tag issue, Leisure, you contact Robin, and we'll try to figure out what the hell's going on with that.
He's already sent me his email. If there's something you need to add, that just message me again, because I already saw the one he sent.
Max is talking about, CASA has this really cool thing where people can go and put their testimonials, their vaping story, up on the CASA site, which is pretty cool. It's very similar to the I'm Proof video thing, that people were doing on Face or on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're not tech savvy like me, I don't do YouTube very well. I mean, it's going to take me 3 or 4 hours just to figure out how to get this video put on YouTube. But the e-cig testimonials is under the tab Get Involved on the CASA site, and I will throw that over here into the chat so that people can see that. That gives you the ability to add your story to a collection of testimonials that CASA is keeping. And hopefully at some point they'll print all those out and deliver them to the FDA or deliver them to the federal government when it comes time. The thing, there's another call to action that I think that everybody needs to participate in, and it's an older call to action, but it's a federal thing that everybody that vapes should be doing. The FDA does not have the authority to change the grandfather date to allow products to use the substantial equivalency pathway to product approval for the tobacco application process. The only people that can do that can change that date, is Congress. And there is a call to action on the CASA website that specifically asks you, the vapor, to contact the government and ask them to consider changing the grandfather date to a more acceptable date. I'm trying to find a link for that. I'm trying to do a lot of different things here, but it's very important. This is from way back in December that this was originally done, but it is still imperative that we get people to do it, because FDA is not going to be able to do anything. FDA is doing what they've been instructed to do. They are just following the law that was provided to them.
Right.
So if Congress says to them, hey, we want you to change the grandfather date for product application, then they have to do it. So I found the link. I'm going to cut and paste this one into chat. and it will be there for your use. Otherwise, you have to go to the CASA site and you go to FDA actions, and it's the second one down. So the only option we have is to defend ourselves when bills are brought. So no, Max, that's not true. The best place and time to defeat legislation is before it's ever written. So right now we are in a proactive phase, or reactive phase, excuse me. We are in a reactive phase because we've been asking people to act and nothing happened. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to candy coat it. CASA's been doing this stuff for a while. We've been putting up alerts for a while. We've been warning people for the last 7 months that this year all this shit was going to happen and that people should participate in their legislative process and contact their legislators. If you look on our website, we wrote a blog, I wrote a blog, asking you to write letters to your legislators in August of last year. That you need to let them know how important vaping is, and you need to let them know that you're a voter, and like most voters, most of us are one-issue voters, single-issue voters. People that are pro-life use that stance to figure out where they're going to vote. People that are against taxes will vote for the candidate that says that they're not going to raise taxes. People that are vaping, that are pro-vaping, should be voting for the candidate that says, I'm not going to mess with your vaping. So, now, if you're already in a state that doesn't have legislation on the books or legislation in the pipeline, you need to be writing letters to your legislators now saying, you know what, I don't want you messing with my vape. It saved my life. This is the science, and we have the packet that you can send to them showing all of the most recent studies that show that vaping is beneficial, helps people quit smoking, and has higher success rate than any other product on the market. And you know what? I'm a single issue voter. If you vote to ban vaping, or if you vote to damage vaping in any way, my vote will go to a different candidate the next time the election is coming. And there are 22 million of us in the United States that all feel the same way. So, yes, I mean, at this time, depending on where you live, we are reacting to bills that are already in play. If there's not any bills in play, you need to A, thank God, and B, you need to engage with your legislators and let them know where you stand. And when the time comes, if you're in one of the states that has legislation coming down, you need to get with the other vapors, get with the businesses, and take the day off work and go stand in front of the Capitol with a sign that says, I vape, I vote.
That's it.
Anyway, I'm going to take vaping.
That's exactly it, though.
I'm not doing a product endorsement, but I love this tank. I'm not going to tell you what it is because that would be an endorsement.
But I can't see it, so you have to show me later.
Yeah.
Because I'm not logged into the room, so I'm looking at your picture.
Oh, that's true, yes. You're just looking at my...
I'm looking at your picture.
My ugly mug of me in my reclining beach chair with my hat over my face. Yes, that was my vacation picture.
Yeah.
So yes, I need to order I Vape I Vote T-shirts. There are actually vendors that sell those. And if you look at Jonathan Thomas, if you look at the Vape Stars video recently, he tells who has them.
He's wonderful.
I don't know who has them right off the top of my head, but if you look at that video, he tells you where you can get them. And obviously, here in Texas, there are a lot of shops that are using T-shirt sales as fundraisers, and they I know that there's a really cool shirt that's going around in the Texas vape shops that's really good on YouTube. Robin, I'll see if I can find it real quick. It's on our Facebook group. If you scroll down, there's a Twisted 420 video.
Yeah.
I think there's a Jonathan Vape Stars video.
There's a Matt Cully video on Facebook.
The Suck My Mod video is on there. So just kind of scroll down. Watch all the videos.
They're great.
They're all reviews of
great.
Big Tobacco Cigalites. And they're telling people, if you don't participate in the process now, this is what you're going to be stuck with in a couple years.
Yeah, you know what? They're great. They're almost like public service announcements. Those guys did such a great job.
I like Twisted 420. He really he went on it and said, I'm going to do a real. So Max wants to know where our headquarters is at. Actually, Max, we are the Vaping Militia board. We're everywhere. We're in different states all over the country. It started out. I'll give you a really short, brief version of the story.
Give the clip notes.
On Vapers TV, there used to be a channel called VapeNet. One of the guys on VapeNet got with two of the other hosts on VapeNet and said, we need to do something more active with advocacy. And I had this idea. Well, then they reached out to two other guys that were viewers on another network on Vapers TV. So the first three were Fred, who is I Am Sam, on VapeNet.
Who's on VapeNet, yeah.
Art Barker, whose truck, and Armando Mendez, who is Monkey Squad. So they were all hosts on Vapers TV. And then they brought in Jim Raines, who is the Lesser Man. He goes by the Lesser Man. And Joe Barnett, who is Martin, and I don't know what numbers. It's Martin and some numbers.
315.
Yeah. So then they got together with a couple other guys and formed the Militia. And over time, new people have added. Other people have gone away, and we're stuck with the 8 members that we have right now.
Hey!
Hey, look! I was there the night that the idea formed, but I was not. I was not an original member. And,
but then you joined the board about a year ago, right? Yeah.
Deadhead 87 is Ian. He is a member of the board of directors.
And he's vaping from
MilitiaLady was the only girl that we could put up with for very long. And
that I could put up with you guys.
Are a bunch of dudes. And all we do,
I handle them.
We spend, anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a night doing advocacy, interfacing with vapors, prepping people for hearings, tearing ordinances apart, calling vape shops in local towns that might have an ordinance going and helping them organize to go to City Hall, doing research and finding studies and articles about vaping that we want to either promote or attack. We have a very good, and not just militia, but we have a very good group of Twitter advocates. Stefan Didak out of California. There's Mark Burton. There's a group of UK tweeters. And we help assault UK issues over Twitter. And when we do Twitter campaigns here in the States, there's people assaulting on Twitter or promoting on Twitter vaping issues worldwide. We have a they make it very easy for us to do this advocacy thing. So well organized that the antis are using our organization as a weapon against us, and say there's no way that these are just normal people because they're too well organized. They have to be paid for by big vapor or big tobacco.
Not us. Nope.
So, you know, it's not just the militia people that are doing this.
Right.
There are advocates everywhere, crawling all through the woodwork. And you have the opportunity to participate on so many different levels. Regardless of whether you want to, you know, give the militia $20 a year, or if you want to donate money to CASA, or if you're a vendor, you know, you definitely need to join your state trade group. I can't let you out of that. And then, you know what? We have the tweeters. You know, something as simple as retweeting or responding to a tweet that has to do with advocacy spreads the word. You know, I have very few Twitter followers, but when I send a tweet out, I know for a fact that you know, the 300 people that follow me might have 4,000 or 5,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's awesome.
Yeah, you get a pretty far reach from there.
So A Leisure has a collage degree. So you can put together really good photo pictures, you know, photo collages of advocacy. That's useful. But yeah, I mean, the whole purpose of us coming on was just, you know, to kind of give everybody a basic idea of what it is that we do and what it is that advocates do.
Right.
You know, we all are not going to be Julie Wassner, the president of CASA, or Cynthia Cabrera, the president of SFATA, or you know, Joe Barnett, the director of the Vaping Militia.
Right.
We all can participate in the process in our own way, and it doesn't have to be these big, massive things. Your personal letter alone. We did an engagement. I sent my letter to every legislator in Texas. Every politician in Texas on the state level, as well as the attorney general and the governor, got a copy of my personal letter and my thoughts on the fact that maybe they should do a little research before they vote on a bill. Specifically, that they should not just take the science that's handed to them by public health organizations and actually do their own research. So anybody got any more questions for me? Anyone? Ian says, wait a damn minute. He can't even spell damn right.
Oh my God, Ian. Deadhead.
You know, for a Grateful Dead listening hippie guy, he types in all caps.
Is he yelling at you?
Yes, Ian, I'm telling you that you have to do something more than watch a video on the internet. You actually have to, you know, write a letter, and at some point you may even actually have to go to the Capitol and hold a sign up. And God forbid you get picked to go testify. You may actually have to speak to more than one person.
Ian would do that in a heartbeat.
Well, I know Ian would. I know I would. I've done it. You know.
Me too.
So the legislative process, just because you voted, makes it that you're responsible for the decisions that your politicians make. And they are responsible for making the decisions that you want them to make.
Exactly.
But if you don't let them know how you feel on a subject, then you can't complain when they vote a way that you didn't want them to vote. That's how it works. Representative democracy.
You can't wait for somebody else to do it. You got to do it.
So yeah, I mean, I put up a a picture on the Vaping Militia. This is a poem. I don't know that it's a poem. It's a thing that was hanging at my grandparents' home my whole childhood. And I really think that this is something that we all need to understand. I'm going to find it so that I can read it to you.
The nobody one? That
Yes.
one? I love that.
The nobody
I
one.
shared that all over the place when you posted it.
Because nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do it. Come on, come on. I'm broadcasting so my computer is being rebellious.
Let me see if I can find it too. Whoever finds it first.
And facetious is not spelled that way, Ian. Just
You're gonna pick on him about his spelling?
of course.
Oh my god.
Okay, here it is.
You find it? Okay.
So I put up this picture on Facebook, and it's a simple thing. It has the logos of all of the different advocacy groups. So it has AVA, that's Greg Connolly. It has CASA, that's everybody. The Vaping Militia, that's, I hope, everybody. National Vapers Club, Vista Truth, and Safada.
Yeah.
So across the top, I put, don't say that's not my job. This is a story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. But everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. Don't be a nobody.
I love that.
So this is, this is the point. If you want to continue to be vapor, and you want to continue not smoking, if you were a smoker, unless you've completely got to zero, and you think that you can just stop vaping, because there are a lot of people that are still addicted to this hand-to-mouth thing, the sensation of drawing in and blowing out. If you want to continue to be able to do that, now is the time to figure out what you can do, ask for help, and do it. Do something. There's so many people out there that just say, well, I want to do something, but I don't know what to do. Well, that's what we did. The Vaping Militia was formed because Fred saw that there were things that weren't getting done that needed to get done, and decided that if nobody was going to do it, then he would.
Right.
And I mean, that's how we've become what we are. And to tell you the truth, people ask us, what does the Vaping Militia do? We do whatever somebody else is not doing already. Our mission has mutated and changed so many times throughout the year, last year, that it's hard to kind of nail down exactly what we do at any given moment. What we have done recently is we've started state trade groups in about a half a dozen to a dozen different states. We formed consumer groups in 48 states. We are promoting networking and people joining and doing what they need to do, whether it's joining Safada, whether it's following the CASA calls to action, whether it's joining Smoke Free Tennessee, whatever needs to get done. If nobody's doing it, we're going to try to get it done. Wow, our one hour broadcast has turned into a much longer broadcast.
Yeah, I was thinking we've been here longer. I haven't really paid attention to the
Yes.
time, but it
Yeah,
feels like
this is you know what, this is going to be in a payback from us not doing Vapor's Worldview on Sundays for the last
yeah.
couple weeks.
We've been scattered so much.
We've been
Maybe
just
this
doing so
week.
many different things, yeah.
Yeah,
And
maybe we
we
can do it
didn't
this
do
week.
Vaping Militia Radio for the past couple weeks either.
Well, we'll all be available this weekend, so we'll need to do that.
Yes.
We haven't done that in a while. I miss it. I miss doing that with you guys. So we'll have to do that.
Yep.
The more that we do that, the more we get our word out there. Real quick, because I kind of feel like we're going to be wrapping things up soon.
Yeah.
I just want to take a second. I don't know if any of those guys are watching right now. I don't know if they'll watch the video or not. But I would really like guys like Twisted420. I'm sorry, I don't know your real name. Matt Cully, who of course is from Suck My Mod. Grim Green, who's Nick, and Sean Thomas and the other guys from the Plumes of Hazard, all those guys, Jonathan Thomas, all those guys who have so much farther reach in different directions even, are really starting to help and pull everybody over into one direction. And it's an amazing thing because, you said it earlier, the numbers have gone up. The numbers for our Facebook group have gone up tremendously in the past, not even a week. Less than a week.
I know for a fact,
because of that reach.
in the last 4 days, we've had over 321 new members.
Yeah, I know that when we were writing...
When we broke 9,000, I posted something saying we're at over 9,000, and we're at 9,321 as of right now. And according to this, there's 888 new members. When
Ian and his wife Elena and I rode up to Niagara last Friday, and he was driving, I was in the back seat, and he probably remembers I kept saying, I don't know what's going on here. I keep approving so many people. That was the first thing I noticed. It was Friday. I had to approve just during that ride somewhere between 30 and 50 people just during that ride, and
yeah.
I didn't know why or what was going on. And then after I got there, and a couple of those guys were there, I realized what had been happening. And it's amazing, that when you get these other guys helping out, how we can help pull everybody together even more. So, if any of you were watching, thank you.
The thing is we need to thank them, but we also need to let everybody know, just joining the group is not the mission. The mission is joining the group and then doing stuff.
And getting active, absolutely.
Yeah. We go to these events, and I'm going to close on this. We go to events and people get really excited about advocacy. They get all fired up. They get home, they join the Facebook group or whatever, and then they're spent. And we need everybody to be fired up and keep that fire stoked. You go to an event, or you see Twisted 420's video, or if you see Matt or Grim Green's video, and you see what the future of vaping is, that should get you excited and angry and ready to do stuff. And you should, if you have to download that video or put it in your playlist so that you can watch it over and over again when the fire stops being so powerful, then do that. Do whatever it takes that keeps you interested and keeps you going to keep the fight going. Because that is what the future of vaping is going to be if people don't act. And I don't want to be negative, because I think we can win, but the only way that we can win is if everybody starts doing stuff, if everybody gets mobilized. And I'm not just talking about random stuff. You need to be organized. You need to follow the calls to action. You need to, as far as writing letters to your politicians, obviously you can do that on your own. You don't need instructions on what to do. But, the letters are there. The form letter is there. I've written it. There's 3 or 4 versions of it on the Facebook group or on the Vaping Militia website in the blogs. We have people that can help you. If you have problems with grammar, write your letter, private message it to somebody on the board, to me, to Robin. We'll do what we can to help clean it up. We'll give you pointers on different points that you're not making. NVC's offered to do the same thing. So Matt Wellman and Malice over at NVC. They're available to help you. We are here to do whatever is necessary to make you as successful as we can as an advocate. You know, it's not just us. We're not the only advocates. Every member of this Facebook group, every member of CASA is an advocate, and you need to know that we're here to provide whatever support that we can give you. And my storytelling is not dead and emotionless. Ian.
Wow. Such an Ian thing to say.
Yeah. But...
I'm glad he loved me.
All right, guys. We're going to close this out. We've gone way longer, and my wife will be wanting to know why I haven't come out to eat supper yet.
Yeah.
Because I promised her it would only take an hour, and I just get so excited and so energetic about this that I can't stop yapping. So
it's been like 2 hours, huh?
Yeah, it has.
Wow.
If anybody needs any assistance, you can contact us directly through the Facebook. Go to the members, click on any of the admins, send a private message. We're here. We can hook you up with the right stuff. And you know what? Go to those videos by the reviewers, Twisted 420, Matt, Grim Green. You know, Basardo has been very supportive of us.
Always.
If there's a video on there that's supporting advocacy, you go on there and put in the comments, thank you. Because those guys have stepped up in a big way to promote getting you guys excited about advocacy. So we need to thank them, and you know, hopefully they'll continue pushing the message and getting the word out, because you know, I'm not vape famous and nobody knows who the hell I am, and that's the way I want to keep it. But those guys are already there. They're recognizable, so we can always use them. So you know what? Go thank them, and hopefully they'll keep walking the advocacy path. But all right, Robin, say good night.
Good night, guys. Hope to see you soon. Have a good rest of the night.
Bye, guys.